Hi everybody. I hope everybody's having a nice summer. At least everybody in the Northern Hemisphere. I know I have some followers from down under as well. I have not made a video in the last couple months at this point, but I am back with a new video, and today I am going to do 5 bold predictions for this NFL season. We have training camps coming up soon. Some teams may have already started their training camps, but I know most of them start next week. So I'm going to do 5 bold predictions. These are not necessarily things I'm betting on. Some of them may overlap with my futures bets that I'll make probably in about a month or so. But for now, I'm just doing general predictions, and I will jump right in. I am predicting that Michael Penix Jr. makes the Pro Bowl as quarterback of the Falcons. He came in toward the end of last season for Kirk Cousins, and he looked pretty good. I think he's going to win the starting job going into this year, and I think he's going to take a big step forward. And I think he's going to be a top 3 or 4 quarterback in the NFC. I think the Falcons are in a pretty manageable division. They play the Saints twice. They play the Panthers twice. 2 teams that don't have very high expectations for this year. And I just have a good feeling about Penix really having a great year. And I saw some comments from Patrick Mahomes recently that he thinks he throws the ball as well as anyone in the league. So that's a pretty good endorsement. And my first bold prediction for the 2025 season is Michael Penix Jr. to make the Pro Bowl. Another quarterback I think will take a big step forward in his sophomore year is Drake May, and I'm predicting that the Patriots will make the playoffs. I think they made a lot of good signings this year. They got Stephon Diggs to add a little talent at wide receiver. They drafted a left tackle first in the top 5 in the first round, Will Campbell. They brought in Milton Williams, and arguably most importantly, they brought in Mike Vrabel as their head coach. And looking at their schedule, I think there are a lot of winnable games there. I'm not necessarily saying they're going to beat out the Bills to win the division, but I think a 6 or 7 seed wild card spot seems very reasonable for the Patriots this year, and I'm predicting they squeeze in to one of those spots with maybe a 9-8 or 10-7 record. So my second bold prediction is that the Patriots make the playoffs. My third prediction is that the Pittsburgh Steelrs will have a losing season. So apologies to my Steeler fan followers. If I lose a couple subscribers after this video, I'll assume that you're Steelers fans, but I think this is the year Mike Tomlin has his first losing season. They brought in Aaron Rodgers, I don't think it's going to be much different than what happened with him on the Jets. I know they also brought in Metcalf and have made some other big free agency signings. I just don't see it all coming together. I think on some level at this point, Aaron Rodgers is more trouble than he's worth. He really proved to be kind of locker room poison, in my opinion, when he was on the Jets. And I think being another year older, he's not going to be any better. I think this team reminds me a little bit of the 2011 Eagles with Michael Vick that were dubbed the Dream Team. There was a lot of talent on that roster, and they ended up finishing, I think, 8-8. So I think it's pretty likely this Steelers team underperforms, and I think being 7-10 or 8-9 is very much on the table. So I am predicting a losing season for the Steelers. On the flip side of the Patriots prediction, the Steelers play in a very competitive division, or at least two of their three division opponents are pretty competitive. I guess they're better than the Browns, but the Bengals are Super Bowl contenders again in a lot of people's eyes, and so are the Ravens. So you got to play each of those teams twice. That's 4 games. They'll probably be underdogs right there. I don't know. I'm just not seeing it this year for the Steelers, but I could be wrong. It's just my prediction. So my fourth prediction, another team I'm fading, is the Chiefs. And my prediction with them is that they will not win their division this year. I'm not necessarily saying who I think will win it. I think it could either be the Broncos or the Chargers. Raiders seems less likely to me, but you never know. They brought in Pete Carroll and Geno Smith, and you never know if maybe they get it together a lot better than people think they will. But the Broncos had a solid year last year with their rookie quarterback, Bo Nix. I think he might take a step forward this year and have the Broncos in contention for the AFC West. And the Steelers looked good under Jim Harbaugh as well. Justin Herbert is a quarterback a lot of people have been waiting to see really break out and have one of those years that he carries the team on his shoulders. So I just think after their crushing Super Bowl defeat last year, where they really did not look like they even belonged in the same stadium as the Eagles, I think the Chiefs are going to have a real Super Bowl hangover. There have been reports that Patrick Mahomes looks out of shape, maybe not putting in the work he needs to in the offseason. I'll still never, it's still always hard to bet against Mahomes, but I just think sooner or later they're going to take a step back to earth. Travis Kelce's getting older. He's in his mid-30s now. Is he really going to be the weapon that he was over the last couple of years? I don't know. I'm not saying that they won't make the playoffs. I could still see them finishing somewhere around 10-7, maybe even 11-6. But I think one of those other AFC West teams will finish a little better than that and end up winning the division. So, Chiefs not winning the division is my fourth prediction. And my final prediction, maybe not really super bold considering the betting odds, but I think the Detroit Lions will win the NFC. I think this is the year that they break through and make it to the Super Bowl after 2 good playoff runs the last couple of years. They got upset in the division round to the up-and-coming Commanders as the number 1 seed. And then 2 years ago, they blew, it was at least a 2-score lead against the 49ers to miss out on the Super Bowl in the NFC Championship. But I think this year that will change. I think they've gotten the losing out of their system. They're going to finally put it all together and get over that hump and make the Super Bowl. I know some Lions fans out there are probably laughing and thinking that I don't know the team well enough, or, I haven't been following closely enough because they always find a way to be the lovable losers. But every dog has its day, or I guess in this case, every cat has its day. And I think the 2025 season will be that for the Detroit Lions. So, final bold prediction, Detroit Lions, NFC champs. So, thank you everybody for watching and listening, and thank you for your patience as I've taken a little hiatus this summer, and you will hear from me again sometime soon. Take care. Bye-bye.